thank you. Okay, so you know how you seem like you're all put together, but really secretly your sock is falling down in your shoe and you're not put together? That's what's happening right now. I just had to fix that real quick. Okay, so a little bit about me. You heard my official bio, but I want to just share with you a little bit more. So you can see here, I think I actually have a pointer on this. Oh my gosh, I do! You guys, this is so exciting. Okay, so this picture right here was the first family picture I took after I was separated from my husband. We had gotten separated after 15 years, and it was very sudden and out of the blue, and I had pictures scheduled, so my son was 3 and 6 at the time. And that's when I was told we were not doing family pictures, it was just me, basically. So, what was that? Fast forward a few years, I jumped ship from the corporate world, because that's what sane, newly single people do, is they leave their cushy 6-figure jobs. I also, at the same time, decided to go to Kenya, Africa, and I had never had a passport, and I had never left the country. So again, the sanity kicked in, and that's what you do when you are going through an identity crisis and figuring things out, is you hightail it to Africa, right? But I'm really thankful for that, because in this picture, Dave and I actually took my kids to Kenya a year and a half ago. I've experienced it 3 times, and they've gotten to experience it on their own as well. But fast forward a few years, so this man who you met opened that door a little bit and walked into my life 4 years ago, and we now have our group of 4. There's Dave right there, being cute at the airport. This is now our sweet blended family. Dave has 2 grown daughters. I have my 2 sons, and his 2 daughters have their significant others. And this cute little sweetheart is Dave's brand new little 4-month-old now, new grandbaby. She's freaking adorable, you guys. And this is my puppy because he's cute too. That's Rooney. And Trisha, Patry, back here, takes good care of Rooney because we give her all kinds of Patry treats, just to throw that out there, and she loves them. Okay, so that is a little bit about me and my journey into the entrepreneurial world, right? Because we all love to just like hightail it out of the 6-figure corporate world and move forward. So I did that with financial advisors. I was teaching them how to run a business and life that they love within the corporate walls. And once I started getting referrals outside of the company I was employed with, I realized that's not gonna work. I had to do it on my own, okay? So I wanna talk to you today about 3 things: people, profit, and your purpose. This is not specifically about the numbers in your business, but we are gonna touch on it. Okay, so the first thing I wanna talk to you about is people, okay? This is why we're out here networking. So I want a show of hands and want you to just kind of shout out a few things. Why are people and real relationships important in the digital world that we live in? I've given you a few ideas, but tell me why. Why is it important? Better connections. Trust. What else?
Trust the digital world, but you trust a real person.
Right? Right? When you're looking them eye to eye, face to face, right? So according to Harvard Business Review, face-to-face connections are 34 times more successful than email or instant messaging alone. That does not mean that we ignore that. Of course we need that, and we need our social media platforms, we need our email platforms, of course we need that. But what this tells you is that there are real people behind it, right? There are real people. So when we talk about your avatar, your ideal client, who here has an exact ideal client with a name and a picture that you can say, I talked to Jane? Yes? A few of you? If you don't, I want to encourage you to get really that clear on who your ideal client is. You can even put a picture of this woman on your computer, so it's right there in front of you. When you're talking, when you're writing, when you're doing anything, you're talking to that person, right? But this is so important, you guys, because like you said, the trust factor, the know, like, and trust factor, it's eye to eye, it's eye contact. It's getting to know somebody on a human level, not just let's meet so I can sell to you, right? It's let's meet so I can see what's exciting, what's happening in your life, what do you love, okay? So these are a few things that we can control about you, but I just want to give you a few things about other people, all right? So other people, we have no control over their actions, right? None. All we have is what we can do. But what you can do for other people is, one, be curious, right? If you go into every conversation as a curious conversation, what's exciting you? What are you working on? What are you doing now? Tell me more about this. Rather than, I have a solution to your problem, but I have no idea what your problem is. but everybody should use my solution, right? That's not true. You don't know what someone's problem is until you talk to them. They may not even know what their problem is. But if you're curious, you'll start learning. And if they have something that someone else in your network can help them with, it's okay to make that referral, right? I have people even say, Lori, I'm a business coach too. Is it okay if I come to Utah Leading Ladies? Heck yes. Do you know how many business coaches there are out there and how many expertises there are? It doesn't matter. I have a network of people, so when I have a conversation with somebody and I say, you know what, my systems and my programs are not quite right for you right now, but Jane over here, she has the systems that are going to help you get to your next step. Then we'll talk in a year from now or 6 months from now or whatever that looks like. That's okay to do, right? But you're not going to know that expertise about someone else until you're curious. Oops, go back. Okay, so what are they excited about? What are they working on? What is their next step? And this is a doozy. Names are important. Actual first names are really important, right? The most beautiful word in any language is your own first name. Learn people's names. Make it a habit. If you need to go through those visualization tricks, Google them if you don't know what I'm talking about. Go through some visualization tricks to learn people's names. Remember something about them. I promise you your network will expand immensely if you do that one thing. Remember people's names, okay? But here's what you can control as well. When you show up, so who here is a first timer again? Okay, can I just give you a shout out for being super brave? I know, right? Give them a shout out for being brave. It is sometimes a little vomitous to walk into a room of strangers. Believe me, I go into large conferences and I'm like, I want to hide in a corner. You guys, it is not a natural human thing to walk into a room. It might be for Lita, but not for most people. To walk into a room of strangers and just make friends right away, right? I get that it is brave to walk in somewhere. So one way that you can alleviate that fear, one is bring a friend, but two, be curious. That's how, if you put the focus on other people, be curious about someone else, it takes that pressure off of you, okay? But when you are showing up in any capacity, whether it's online, on a phone call, in a networking event, at a seminar, wherever you are the expert in your industry. You're it, right? Even if there are 15 other people that do exactly what you do, nobody is you. You are the expert in your industry. So I want you to practice this. So when you walk in and you show up and just say, I'm a real estate agent. Awesome. I don't know how to refer that because, of course, if I have somebody who's going to sell a house, right, I'm just going to pick whoever my friend does. But if you show up and say, I help divorced women, men get into their next place. I help empty nesters find their smaller place. I help first-time homeowners. I help whoever. Be specific, right? Or I am an expert in this method, whatever that is. Show up. But when I heard people say, I'm not really an expert in anything. I'm good at what I do, but I don't feel like I'm an expert. Okay, so this is an analogy that I've used with my kids many times. So whatever level you are in your industry, whatever level of certifications, experience, you should always be learning, right? You are the 6th grader to a kindergartner. Yes, you have more to learn. You should always be improving your skills, always be improving your education, right? We should all do that. But you have all those years to go. But to that kindergartner, you're a freaking rock star, right? You know how to do all these things and you have that expertise that you can share. Show up with that power that you have something to teach, you have something to share, you have a value, you have a service, you have something you can do. So if you show up with confidence in your industry, show up with that expertise that I am that 6th grader to that kindergartner, you're gonna rock it, okay? Find that confidence in you. The other part of the people, again, knowing your ideal client. Know exactly who that is. Before you walk into a room or before you do a video, before you create some content, know who you're talking to. If you're not clear on it, let's have a conversation and we can talk about that, okay? Get really clear on who you want to serve. That does not mean that you say no to other people that come to you for your services. That's not what that means. That just means that you are marketing and you're talking and you're focusing on one particular type of person, okay? Does everybody understand the difference? So I have people say, well, I can really serve everybody. Well, of course you can, but you can't talk to everybody, right? You can't. Okay, And the final one that you can do is be a connector. This sets you up so well. It expands your network. You get to know people. But again, if I have another person in my network that can help somebody else, and I do an email or a text and say, Jane meets Susan, here's why, go ahead and connect, then it's on them. But you are that person that brought them together, and you watch that ripple effect. Who knows what will happen? Hopefully they follow up and they've solved the problem that why I connected them, right? If not, that's, whatever, that's on them. Please just follow up. Let's just talk about that for a minute. If you get any kind of introduction, follow up, right? And what that means is just reaching out, being brave, taking time. We all get busy, right? Part of it is fear. Fear. Who has fear? Yes? None of you? Okay. Who has fear? But it's taking that step of, I just met her, but I'm not sure, I don't know what to say. Go back to being curious. That's it. You're just connecting, you just want to learn more about her. You're not calling to make that initial sale. You're just calling to see what she needs. You're calling to learn about her. What does she need in her business? But that at the same time doesn't mean that you never share how people can refer to you, right? You need to show up as an expert and tell people, here's how you can refer to me. This is what I'm looking for, okay? Okay. Now, I want to talk about your goals. This is how you can set your goals so that it goes into your funnel. As you're talking to people, you need to know how many people you need to talk to in order to sell what you need to sell. All my bookkeepers in here, please don't kill me for what I'm showing here right here. This is not proper bookkeeping. But this helps you with your goals. And can I just show you this right here? Okay, so I got a new Surface Pro for Christmas. From that man over there, gave me a new Surface Pro. And on the Surface Pro, you can have a pen and you can write on it. So I had this PowerPoint and I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna use the pen and I'm gonna write on it. That's what this is. It was really fun, so I just had to tell you that. Okay, the difference between gross revenue and net profits. Does everybody, first of all, have you heard those two words? Do you understand the difference? Okay, so first, basics of your business. If you do not have a separate business account, leave here today and go do that right now. Go talk to these ladies back here and open up that business account. Okay? I don't care how much or how little you make, have it separate. What that does, one, is proper bookkeeping. Two, it's an emotional change. Because in the corporate world, you'll hear the term paycheck to paycheck. In the entrepreneurial world, you hear client to client, right? So when somebody pays you for your services, you're in your mind thinking, they're paying me, that money now goes into the absorbing of my household income, right? And I'm just gonna spend it, wherever it may go. On business stuff, on personal stuff, wherever the money's just coming in, right? And it gets lost in the shuffle. What I want you to do is get really clear on what does it take to fund your business and what does it take to fund your life. Two separate things. If you don't know those two numbers, write that down and go home and figure it out. Pull all your bills, pull all your stuff, figure out what it takes, okay? Those two numbers. What it takes to fund your business is the bare minimum of your gross revenue, right? Bare minimum, just to keep the doors open. That's your first goal. As you're moving forward, you want to increase that, obviously. You want to have more than just keeping the doors open. But if you don't know that number, every time someone pays you, it's just being absorbed, right? But what that does, again, is that emotional barrier is when someone pays you, they're not paying you, they're paying your company. They're paying your company. From your company, you need to take out your cost of goods. So if you buy wholesale products, if you make something, the material that it takes to make it, those are cost of goods, right? That's your gross profit. From your gross profit, you have your operating expenses, which is more of you would have operating expenses. So that's website, VA, whatever, like your materials, if you're printing materials, whatever you have to run your business, your operating expenses, that's what goes there, okay? Then I always suggest that you take approximately 25% for taxes. You set aside emergency fund, just like in your personal life. An emergency fund in your business life might be if your computer explodes, if your phone blows up, drops it in the ocean, whatever, maybe. Those are not real experiences, obviously. But you need to plan for them. Upcoming expenses, if you're traveling for conferences, if you need some certifications, if you're doing training, upcoming expenses. After all of that is your net income. That's actually your paycheck, right? That's actually your paycheck. So if you start your goals and you work backwards and say, this month I want to make $5,000 in my pocket, or $10,000 in my pocket, or whatever your number is, you put that here in your net income and you work backwards. And then you know exactly how much you need to sell, how many people you need to get in front of, how many phone calls you need to make, how many widgets or services you need to sell, right? It's just numbers, you guys. But if we're not paying attention to it, you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall, right? Hoping you're gonna get another sale, it's gonna be absorbed in whatever else you're doing, and you just keep going because you're always struggling, right? I want you to be struggling and know that you have intention. You can create real value for other people. You can create real value for yourself when you know exactly what your next steps are and who you need to help get them to their goals, and you can get to your goals at the same time. Does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions on this so far? No? Okay, so I want to talk real quickly about purpose. So this is a picture of me on my first trip to Kenya, Africa in 2013. I know there was little side bets going around before this, betting whether I was going to cry today or not. I heard it. I tried really hard. Is Lori going to cry today? Okay, I haven't yet. I've just started, but I'm not yet. Okay, this trip, I want to share this story. So my first trip, again, I was newly separated, figuring myself out, left my little kids at home for 2 weeks, and was here doing humanitarian projects. One of the things we were doing was teaching in a high school, and we were teaching some life skills, some business skills, helping these girls prepare for whatever their next step would be, okay? After we were done, one of the girls came up, held my hand like this, and just said, "Thank you for giving me a choice." And it took me a second, because it was the broken English, and she was, "Thank you for giving me a choice." And I asked her what she meant by that. She said, "I didn't know that I could do anything besides leave school this year and get married and start having babies. That's my plan. That's what we all do." She was 15. That's all we do in this village. We get married, we have babies. That's it. This is the last of my education. So, okay, well, what would you rather do? Well, I heard about this school in the US called Harvard, and I would like to go there and learn agricultural engineering so I can come back and help my village. And I'm like, what? Okay, how do we make that happen? So it was starting that conversation, but what this did, you guys, was show me that not just these girls in rural Kenya needed that voice, needed that opportunity to say, I want a choice. There are women here, there's women in this room that don't know you have a choice, right? But that was part of why I started Utah Leading Ladies, so that we can empower each other. It's why I teach education, to get women to understand business so that there's always a choice. I don't ever want you to feel stuck in a career or a relationship or a situation you're in. I want you to be happy. I want you to grow. I want you to choose your path and move forward in that path that is right for you. If your path needs to take a turn, right? Amen. If your path needs to take a turn, it's okay. You have a choice, whatever that choice is. But that's what this did for me, was to make me realize that it is not just this rural community. And that girl, bless her, she is still going to school. This has been 6 years, you guys. She's in college. I checked up on her. She's not in the US, she's in Nairobi, but there's a great university in Nairobi. And she's there and she's learning and she's doing great things. That is what I want for you. So I want you to get really clear on your goals. Get really clear on what you're giving and serving in your community. Get really clear on what your expertise is so that others know how to serve you. Be really clear on that. It is a giver's society, but you also need to be able to show people how they can serve you, right? That's really important. Get behind your vision, get behind your goals, be passionate about what you do. Share it with your family, share it with your friends. Live out loud, right? Tell people how your vision, how your goals, even if they boycott. When I left my corporate world, I kind of did it in secret. I didn't tell my family that I was quitting my cushy job. I didn't tell my friends, my close girlfriends. Only my entrepreneurial community knew, because I know that they love me so much and they're gonna say, listen, crazy lady, you're a new single mom. You can't leave this. It's got good salary, good insurance, good, all these things. Logically, yes, you are absolutely right. However, I don't really care. I don't care. So I moved and I did this, and it was probably 2 or 3 months later when people started saying, you seem to be home a lot. Weird. And then I started telling them what I was doing. Okay, what's next? This is how I can support you further. So if you are not sure what your next step is and you just want to have a conversation about your business, you want to have a conversation about your income, you want to have a conversation about the network, anything that you need to get some clarity on, let's just brainstorm, you guys. I'm not here to just sell you stuff. I'm here to help you improve, okay? So if you would like to have a conversation with me, I am offering this on my calendar, which if you go to this link, bit.ly/chatwithlori, you'll go right to my calendar and you can find a time with me, okay? The other thing is I do have a program coming up. It's a one-day program that I am doing Friday, March 20th. This is a business planning day. This is a $197 published price. Everyone in this room gets it for $97. If you're a member, you get it for $50. So if you sign up as a member today, you can get it for $50 too, just saying. This is a one day. I do this almost every quarter to help you plan out your business and your products and your services and get your funnel really strategic so that you can understand what it is you're selling and what your next steps are. A few people in here have done this class before. You've done it. Yeah, you've done it. So if you want either of these, just come talk to me, okay? And I'll see if it's the next step for you. If not, I got a whole network of people that I can refer you to. All right, sound fair? Okay, is everybody ready for their next steps? Ready to do something bigger in their business? All right, that's all my time. Thank you, thank you.